It's great to be here at Westminster, albeit the fact that the reason for our gathering is a rather somber one. The pervading insecurity that is ongoing in Nigeria, particularly how it is affecting children. 20.2 million children out of school in Nigeria is a statistic which we really do need the governments, both in Abuja and here in Westminster, to do something about. It is our hope and our expectation that the release of this report here today will trigger action from our decision makers, our policy makers, to bring about a situation whereby the future of Nigerians' children will be secure, both for today and for the future.
A report like this is necessary because it's a talking point. It's not a report that will immediately solve all the problems of insecurity or lack of attention to education. But what it does first is to draw attention of everybody that should be interested, all the stakeholders, to draw their attention that there's fire on the mountain, and this is something we not only need to talk about, but something that we need to do something about. So the report's main objective, I hope, is to call for action, for immediate action, for lasting action, for actions that will endure. That's what the report will do.
And what outcomes do you expect from today's session here in Westminster?
I think we are very fortunate to be launching this in the Parliament. I hope we will be able to do a second launch in Abuja. Because we are using such a very huge platform, such a very international platform, I hope that more people will take notice that such a thing is happening in Nigeria and that it is dangerous for the country, for our youth and their future, for the international community actually.
The first role of any government is to secure its citizens. So the government needs to invest more in securing Nigeria. The level of insecurity is too high, so they need to do something to reduce the insecurity. So when the insecurity is reduced, then parents will feel more confident to send their kids to school, and that will drop the number of out-of-school children. Because if you are a parent of the Chibok girls, you wouldn't want to send your child to school. So they need to really inspire confidence in the parents to encourage them to go to school. Also, in terms of legislation, they need to put the right legislation in place to make sure any parent who refuses to send their children to school is actually penalized. So IA Foundation and PSJ UK are collaborating actually to write a report to raise the awareness about the level of insecurity in Nigeria. As I always say, it's a burning platform, and we need to make sure the government of the day takes this matter seriously because it's affecting every aspect of the country. For instance, it's affecting food security, apart from affecting education. So we just want to raise the awareness and to give the government of the day a wake-up call, put their feet to the fire to make sure they take this insecurity challenge very, very seriously.
That report is fundamental. It's a good work. It's a great work, and I hope that the content and context will take you forward and how to execute the great commission that you have in that document.
As we all know, in Nigeria, the level of insecurity is unbelievable. It's just increasing every day. I am not a teacher. I don't work in the education sector. So it's begging the question, why am I involved in this? I'm involved in this because I want to be able to go to Nigeria. I want my children to be able to go to Nigeria and be there with peace of mind. And the insecurity challenges in Nigeria is not going to be an issue for my children. And I'm thinking, you know what? If there is an attack on education, then we're going to be in a serious problem.
The government must place high premium on education that will liberate the mind so as to denounce radical social and religious ideology that constitutes insecurity in the country. In the immediate, we need to build hope very quickly.
Britain is doing a lot in Nigeria, all right?
They're doing a lot in the area of education, they're doing a lot in the area of policing, they're doing a lot in the area of security. About 4 weeks ago, they signed an agreement. So they have a lot of influence in Nigeria. And we're saying use that influence to push a little. As you read this, I'm pleading with you, don't get comfortable with the figures. They are actually human beings that we're talking about. Human beings who should be in school. Children who should be playing. They are right now in the open, in the wilderness, not knowing. You know, the kidnappers in Nigeria, they're so brazen. They tell parents to send food to the camps, and that if they didn't send food, their own children would not be fed. Kidnappers in Nigeria, they kidnapped a pregnant woman and sent message to the city for a doctor to come and deliver her. Just remember that it takes very little for a nation to fail.
What I'm admiring of it is that you've not only assessed the scale of the problem, but you have also proposed solutions. And that's what we all have to look to see what individually can we do, because only together are we going to be able to resolve this. What I will do as a Member of Parliament and as the Prime Minister's Special Envoy for Freedom of Religion or Belief, and I have an office in the Foreign Office, I will take this back to the UK Foreign Office, and I will make sure that our government ministers, and in particular Minister Andrew Mitchell, who is the Minister for Africa and for Development. There was a man walking along a beach, and on this beach, thousands of starfish had been washed up on the beach, and they were drying out in the sun. And then he saw a young boy, who was carefully picking up one starfish by one and taking them down into the water and throwing them into the sea so that they could revive and live again. And the man said to the boy, "Look," he said, "look, sonny, there are thousands of them. What difference can you make?" And the little boy looked at him and he picked up one of the starfish and he said, "For this starfish, I can make all the difference in the world." And that's what you're doing for those children.